Another reason for changing to a 1-inch wheel is the 2-inch strip. And that doesn't mean you're going to get a 1-inch strip. The issue is to do with being able to keep one eye on the edge of the wheel 2 inches away for where you mainly focus. And that is really difficult. It's too far out of the center of your vision. The 1-inch, the other edge of a 1-inch wheel is much easier to keep in mind than the 2-inch. So, in my opinion, when I went over to 1-inch wheel, I got rid of the whole problem of having a dip from the other side of the wheel.
Everybody thinks almost got their wheels in that.
They are. And that's the way to do it. Put it in a lathe and cut it down. Just turn it down. Okay. Whilst that's going around, you're going to see another thing. When it comes to this area here, if you were grinding on a fixture, you would never be able to grind what I have drawn on that blade, because again you're changing the whole angle of the blade against the wheel. In other words, this is happening. When I go up into that corner by the rotator, I'm actually rotating the whole blade against the corner. Okay, and that you clearly cannot do on a fixture. Questions so far?
What are you using for layout?
Oh, that was just a big black Sharpie with a
And it stays on that good?
it is a permanent Sharpie, not the
Not the ones regular.
yeah, and I'm being kind of careful with it as well.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the other thing that I meant to say. When you start your grind, you want the tang to be complete. You want that knife to be surface ground, ready to go. You don't want to have to be going in and removing material in the ricasso area or anywhere else. That blade must be finished. That little blank, I actually decided yesterday when I made the blanket, I'm going to finish this knife. Normally when I do these knives, they don't get finished. They just have a whole box full of demo pieces. I'm going to finish this one. So I actually put it on the surface grind with a stone on it, and I'll finish the sides. So that's what you want to do. And having done that, don't take a scriber and scribe a horrible deep mark into it, okay, that you're going to have to remove afterwards. Be very gentle with your scriber, okay? Okay, so gentlemen, the tip of that knife, I'm not going to go back there. It's done. So now we're going to go and remove the rest of that material. I will stop just short of the center line. And the reason for that is I don't want to go over the center line, and we're going to have to, having grounded, you're going to have to go to finer belts, and we'll talk about that. I won't be doing that today because I didn't bring any, I didn't realize I had 3 hours. If I'd known I had 3 hours, I might have thought about that a little deeper. But you're going to have to remove a bit more material. So
Sneak up on it.
yep. Sneak up on it, absolutely. Sneak up on it and get your grind nice and smooth and straight.
So what girl?
I'm saying it's about 90. And it's an old wheel.
I'm assuming phrase anyway.
Okay, if you haven't heard this, another tip. Do not, I know these corners are slightly rounded, and that's because this wheel has been in my possession and been used by students for over 30 years now. But don't ding the corners of your wheel, and don't think that you're going to grind a knife sweep out into your main grind by rounding the corner of this wheel. You want to round the corner for use with flexible belts to polish that corner, round it a little bit. For main grinding, you get this nice curve there by rotating the blade through the corner of the wheel, not by hanging the blade out over the edge and asking that to do the work. It doesn't do it. All right, so now we're going to get in and we're going to remove this material here.
And they use the many parts of life. Just make up.
Alright, just about getting there. Alright. A little bit of work to do back in the back. But you can see the very distinct line where your two different grind angles meet each other. So mostly, we what should I say? Okay, I believe very much in designing a knife on paper. It is much easier to change on paper, to make changes on paper than it is to make changes in steel. So design the knife on paper. Look at the lines that are most pleasing to the eye. Put those lines in wherever you can. Having done that, when you come to make your knife, try as hard as you can to stick with that design. Okay, instead of just going straight in and grinding. So most daggers, what I see, they
in a line. And mostly you're going to see little tight corner there. In my opinion, although it's okay, fine, there's nothing particularly wrong with it from a functional point of view. Is it as pretty as a nice flare in like that? No. Again, my opinion, but I have an artist as a wife who's an artist, and she tells me beauty is not necessarily in the eye of the beholder. We may like to say that, particularly when we look at ladies, but there are definite proportions and lines that are more pleasing to the human eye than others. So draw it, look at what looks really great, and try to make it that way. Don't always succeed, because sometimes what you want to achieve is really difficult, but persevere. And somebody said they can barely hear. Have I got to shout louder?
Turn it up on the TV. The remote's right there. Oh, it's all the way up?